And we welcome you to Talladega Super Speedway for the second race of Season 8 of the Palm Rat Golf Road and Plate Series. And this is going to be a good one. I'm Joshua Copperland. I'm joined by Olivia Hayward. Olivia, it's been a while, but how are you doing?
And I am excited to be here. It is a monumentous day for the Road and Plate Palm Golf Series because we have neither a road nor a plate to work with. I know we've had that with some other tracks as well, but we are, of course, in the 1987 NASCAR machinery, the last year before the restrict plate was added on the super speedway tracks, which means we are expecting speeds well over 200 miles per hour, or these are the same cars from that legendary 212 mile an hour qualifying run at this very track in 87.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That is true, and this is going to be really exciting to watch. I've seen a lot of races with this car at plate races, Daytona, Talladega, um, super speedways, rather, I should say. But I don't know if I've actually have raced these myself. I know I've driven them around Daytona when they first came out, but I I, I never really thought about that. Um, I do know that these guys are running with a different setup that will allow them to kind of still be in a pack. That'll help a lot more, especially as the tires fade. But that's the other thing, these tires, they are going to fade. It's not like you can do the full race without ever changing tires. You're gonna feel it essentially, and this is going to be our first taste of what this is going to be like. We do have Talladega one other time on the schedule, and all in all, I'm looking forward to tonight, seeing who's going to win this race, and just continue to get the season going. It should be a really fun one.
Yeah, it's a real chance for some fresh faces who maybe have not stood at victory lane in this series before. Maybe they find that this is exactly what they were looking for. It's the right kind of racing. We might see something impressive from one of those lesser known drivers in the series. Right now it is Tim Speciale in the number 23 Chevrolet Monte Carlo with the pole position time. Dustin Borley on lap number 1 went a few hundredths shorter, is now going to take the shortcut down through the tri-oval towards start finish. But you see the car wash up as he tries to go through that tri-oval section. He's going to cut the beam and is not going to find improvement. Those tyres faded 0.2 of a second between that first and second lap, which just shows what the fall off's going to be like.
Dustin Bally, an incredible run last week in the season opener, finishing second in the feature event after having issues with his throttle. I believe is what it was in the heat race. He's looking to continue on with a strong start. And you mentioned it, he is P2. That's a pretty good starting position for sure. Um, we'll see if he's able to keep it. Still 2 minutes 50 seconds left in qualifying here at Talladega. So won't be long. We'll find out that starting lineup. But Dustin Bally, he's got a pretty good start so far.
Especially with the sort of racing we're expecting. It's not going to be like you see from a modern plate race. Having that starting track position could be important to just stay ahead of the mess. There's going to be, of course, increased speeds in the pack. It's going to make that tyre wear even more difficult to handle. Maybe being on that front row is going to be the ticket to a good result. But here we have That is the number 18 of Ryan Campbell, it looks like. Going to fly down the backstretch and have time for one flying lap here around Talladega Superspeedway. We'll see where he can put that Chevy.
He is coming through the trial and is gonna hit the start finish line.
Really see how they have to arc the corner for this qualifying lap. When you're in the more modern cars, it can help to let the car drift out maybe half a lane to a lane. But we are going all the way up to the wall just to reduce the scrub on the tyres, reduce the wheel angle you're having to put in coming out of turn number 2 and then out through turn 4, again out into that second lane. He's going to cut back down, is going to actually arc it nice and into the tri-oval, and then at a short line late will come across the line, and it'll be good enough for 11th for the number 18. It looks like that will be the last lap we get today, unless Sean Johnson has anything left in the tank, or Campbell can find an improvement on lap 2. But look at how difficult those tyres are to handle coming out of turn number 2. It's a lap and a half underneath.
We are riding on board with Ryan Campbell. Just see how different like it looks inside of these cars. Keep it on the bottom. Timer expires. Is he gonna get it? No, he's not. So that wraps it up for qualifying. And we're gonna take a look at the starting lineup for tonight. And on the pole, it's gonna be, how did you pronounce his last name? Because that's a whole lot better than I was pronouncing it last week.
Speciale?
Speciale. Tim Speciale on the pole for tonight. Dustin Bali going to start in second position. Joseph Klein will start third. Chuck Labano in fourth. Fifth place is Daniel Foss. Vince Harley in sixth. Laura Wiseman will start seventh. Mark the Watchman in eighth. Tom Wendt will start ninth. And Sean Campbell will start in 10th.
You've got Ryan Campbell behind in 11th place with Aaron Bray alongside, finishing out row number 6. Got Evan Hubchak and Andrew White behind on row number 7. Then rounding out your top 20, we have Mark Royce, Samuel Stoner, Brandon Brush, Daniel Ott, James Moore, and then Robert Brobst, P20 on the grid for today.
Aaron Smith is going to start 21st. Johnny Rapp 22nd. Jay Bass, last week's winner, starts 23rd. Sean Johnston in 24th. Levi Powell 25th. Steve Vest 26th. And that's it. 26 cars make up starting lineup for tonight.
Those back 6 drivers not getting a qualifying lap in. Do you have to wonder whether they made an attempt and maybe washed out into the wall, or whether this is their strategy, expecting instance further ahead and hoping to ride their way through and move up the field for the end of the race?
"30 seconds left on the clock till they start rolling." Gotta ask you, it's been a while since we've done picks. I didn't even do picks last week either. But, I mean, spin the roulette wheel. Who do you got? Who do you think is going to win tonight?
I'm going to say Dustin Borley. Starting up front, might be ahead of it, has experience, we know, in this league. So, why not the number 24?
Man, I didn't think this was going to be so tough. I'm going to go Laura Wiseman. I'm a believer Laura Wiseman can win one of these races. Laura Wiseman is someone we always see up front when it comes to Daytona, Talladega, this kind of racing. I think it's the night that Laura gets it done.
Certainly possible. Any car in this field could get it done. It just depends how they're able to move through the field, move through any incidents, and really manage those tires, especially in these machines. It's a new era for oval racing in the Road and Plate Parmaat Golf Series. Let's see who's got what it takes to take advantage and move the way forwards here at Talladega.
So Joseph Klein is on the front row. Speciale did not grid, neither did Aaron Smith. But the drivers, they're getting ready for 16 laps in this sprint race at the 2.66 mile super speedway in Talladega, Alabama. They come off turn number 4. The pace car gonna hit the safety of pit road. It's a long way to get to that start zone. The anticipation is building. We're ready. The drivers are ready. And the fans are ready. The green flag waves. We're going at Talladega. Telemetry apparently has Aaron Smith in the lead. He's just so good that it's got him out front, but now it's showing Klein. I don't know why it was showing Smith there, but Klein has Labano and Harley on that bottom line. Bali, who got a great jump, now falling back as he has no help behind.
Yeah, and this noise is just incredible as they fly through the tri-oval. You can see how difficult it is to hold the line, especially if you're stuck in the middle. Bali's getting shuffled back, but everyone, it looks like, is through lap 1. Everyone got up to speed, got their shifts done correctly, which, remember, these are very old Synchromesh 4-speed H patterns. They're difficult to get through the gears. Everyone managed it, and we have 24 cars in the pack, plus Aaron Smith, who had to, looks like, take a pit lane start after a loop.
Yeah, I just realized Aaron Smith is on the track. He's going to need a yellow to catch back up. Side by side for the lead. Actually make it 3 wide for the lead. Mark Watchman takes the lead. Chuck Labano, and we got a crash.
The spinner in the back.
Sean Campbell.
Sideways, being pushed by Daniel Ott down the track. Still linked together, and finally get dislodged halfway down the backstretch on lap number 3. Let's take a look at what brought out our first caution of the night. You see Campbell in that middle groove. And just washes up on exit and spins up in front of Daniel Ott there. A couple of other cars, it looked like got a little bit of contact with the wall, but the big incident between those two. And that will bring out our first caution of the night. Only a 16-lap race here for the sprint. I am curious whether we're going to see any activity down on pit road.
Looks like Aaron Bray caught the wall, and I'm not sure if that might have surprised Daniel Ott at all. Ott hit the wall as well, and I don't know, because it does appear that Campbell kind of comes up as well. I'm wondering, just tight on exit?
I think so. They were going, 200 mile an hour, more than that actually, close to 210 in the middle of the corner, and the front tires just not giving what they were expecting. Much older style than we have today, and just catch people out. It's going to be that learning curve. I think we're going to see a couple of instances here tonight, and then throughout the rest of the season, they're going to work out exactly where that limit is, how much they can push those tires.
So yeah, I'm grateful I'm not out on the track, because I'd be doing a whole lot worse, that's for sure. With my very limited experience in these cars, they are so powerful. They drive so differently than the cars today, and you're touching on that subject really well. Um, I I just don't have a whole lot of knowledge with these, other than they are so much different.
If you haven't had a chance to experience these before, anyone watching, next time there's some downtime, go and load one of these up, take it to a place like Michigan, take it to Watkins Glen if you really want a challenge. Work out what these drivers are dealing with most of the season here. Try to get this car stopped in those braking zones. The brakes are basically non-existent. We had a couple takers down pit lane. Steve Vest just passing through to fall to the back. And Aaron Smith, it looks like, maybe taking some tires. Taking right sides. Just now he's caught back up. We're going to try and use that as a slingshot to work back through the field.
I'll tell you, I'm going to have to load up this car onto a track and see how terrible I can do with it. But you mentioned Watkins Glen, and I actually did think about that. I didn't do it, but I did think about loading exactly that track prior to last week. And the talk was in the off season about how drivers are going to have to heel toe to shift these cars. And my personal sim racing rig, I have the 3 pedal setups. I've got the H pattern shifter as well. And I've tried to do the heel toe in other stock cars, ones that you don't have to do, kind of like the Shane Van Gisbergen, how he drives. It was awful, and I can only imagine how it would be for me in a vehicle like this. But it's iRacing, so it's not going to cost me a dime to wreck the car.
Yeah, you can heel toe this. I think there's no shame in a car of relying on those clutch assists as well. Just letting the sim handle it for you. It's a bit slower, but if it means you can focus on hitting your marks, that can be worth a lot on a road course as well. As for here, obviously it's just a couple of shifts to get up through the pack, and with the draft being such a huge factor, these are bricks of a car punching a huge hole in the air behind. So anything you can do to just get up through the gears, not miss a shift and cause an instant behind, you'll stay with everyone, and that's the most important thing on the start and, of course, these restarts.
Do you think we're going to see any massive blowovers? 'Cause these cars, they'll catch air.
I think if we have a close pack coming to the white, I think we might see a blowover.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be 10 laps to go in the sprint race when they come back around and take the green flag. It is Mark Watchman, the leader, Chuck Labano in second. Vince Harley in third. How about Dustin Bally? He's fallen all the way back to sixth place. That start was not very kind to him. Field works their way off of turn number 4.
It is worth mentioning, by the way, the cars involved in that incident that brought out the caution did not stop for repairs. They carried on, so clearly superficial damage for them, but probably those tyres are not going to be happy on Sean Campbell's car.
I didn't even think about that either. That's worth noting as we are coming back to the green. It's out. We're back underway. And car on the apron. That's actually going to be Tim Speciale. Oh, he's out here.
Yeah, dealing with some mechanical issues. Unfortunately, could not take that pole position that he earned, but is going to get some laps, get warmed up for the feature race. And everything's going to be reset as we go 3 wide down the backstretch. And it's Dustin Bally, much better restart than on the initial. Clears 1, hoods the middle lane, doesn't feel confident enough to clear Mark on that bottom groove. And they are going to be side by side on corner exit out of turn 4.
Oh, he wanted to get back down to the middle, but I think either too tight or that number is throwing me off. I believe that's Harley in the 92, but showing 73 on my screen.
It is Harley. And it seems that low groove is really working wonders right now for Mark and Chuck. On the low side. Just, if you're stuck up top.
Oh!
And then, speaking of, into the wall. Further down the field, and we've got a blowover. Robert Grubbs in the 5, up and over against the wall. Will he land on 4 wheels? Does, fortunately. And we'll have to roll it down to pit lane to take that fast repair. Did not take it to the white flag.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
We need to go back a little bit further. Because I believe it starts with Laura Wiseman. And actually, I want to go back even further than that. So there was contact between Wiseman and Wendt. Which put Wiseman into Ryan Campbell. And then a just tight squeeze that sent Robert Probst up into the wall. Who else was right there? That'd be the 32.
Oh. And there was an incident under caution just now as well. As we're watching this. Between Sean Campbell and Sean Johnson. We're talking about turn number 2, just moments ago. We have a stack up on the backstretch.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, unfortunately, these drivers do have fast repairs available. Just see cars swerving out the way, and Campbell caught napping a little bit. Wasn't expecting the sort of checkup. I think it's also the visibility, just of the cars being so big. in front. Can't really see.
Yeah, I want to watch this from the cockpit of Campbell. Just, I mean, no visibility at all. More comes out of nowhere when Sean Johnson moves out of the way there for Sean Campbell. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know, I mean, how the brakes are on this car? I mean, like, it definitely doesn't look like any ill will to me, by any means. It really looks like just, was not expecting a big checkup like that.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any intent behind it, it'd be done a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
With a lot more force. It really is just getting caught out, and as you said, the brakes are not good in these cars. You gotta remember, first of all, just brakes weren't as good, but also these are built for as much speed as possible at a track like this, which means you have smaller brake pads because the larger they are, the more friction's gonna happen, even when the brakes are disengaged. There's going to be more resistance. So they're pushed it to the limit, and even in the modern cars, that's why the brakes seem to struggle on super speedways so much. It's just even worse here because the brake materials weren't as they are now. Going back in time 40 years to a vehicle like this.
And the lights on the pace car go out. It will be 1 to green. And 5 to go when they do take the green flag. A lot of drivers were down pit road that last time by. The top 17 stayed out, so 18th on back. We're down in pit road.
Aaron Smith stopped again, which is interesting because I think they are limited to one tire change. Nope, I'm mistaken. They have unlimited tire sets here, and so taking another wheeler, but again taking 2 tires. Everyone behind, it looks like, taking a set of 4. We'll see how that manages, and whether Aaron Smith is struggling on those left side tyres compared to the cars behind. We also have a great run on the cars up front, who are all on the set they started on.
So Watchman and Labano, the front row. Daniel Foss and Harley. It's going to be in row 2. Klein and Hoopchak make up row 3. And then Dustin Bali, who once again had an incredible restart, but fell back just about as fast as he was able to get up there. We'll see if Bali is able to make something happen, as we will have 5 to go in this sprint race. Base car is in. They are coming through the tri-oval. And inside the restart zone, green flags waving. We're back underway here at Talladega.
Bali already to the outside. Gets a great jump on Joseph Klein. And has the room to arc in as well. Through turn 1 if he wants it, but he's going to rip all the way up on the high side. And Evan Hoopchak will cover on corner exit. And Dustin's going to work together there. And this is the move. You can't form huge lines, but if you can get one car behind you and work together as a duo, you can still find a lot of support. So once you can keep it stable through the corners, which is the most difficult thing in these cars, as we've seen. They are 3 wide further back for 10th place.
How about Jay Bast? Oh my goodness, they are all over the place. Is that Aaron Smith? That is Aaron Smith. Second car on the outside line.
And Robert Brobst is up to 12th as well on 4 fresh tyres. This is a lesson that drivers will learn now and hold on to for the future. Cars scatter on the backstretch. Looks like that was Johnny Rapp rejoining down low. No one sideways, but really struggling for control in the latter phases of this race. And Brandon Brush up into the wall in turn number 3 as well. Chaos here has become 2. 3 laps to go. Borley holding on in that group for 5th place, but on the outside, here comes Aaron Smith on those fresh right side tyres and behind. Robert Brobst on 4 fresh tyres. They're going to try and work their way through. But into the wall goes the 5.
That was really tight coming off turn number 2 there. And just look at how chaotic this looks. As Hoopchak and Watchman are side by side with Klein. All for the lead. Coming to 2 laps to go.
Smith giving Klein a big push. Klein's now clear for the race lead. He's going to move down to the middle. They go back to the support from the 70. Knows how powerful those tyres could be. Arcs into the corner. And Smith is going to try and rip it around that middle groove. He's holding on level with Evan Hoopchak for second right now. And now has a slipstream off the corner. A lap and a half here to go. And Klein is blocking both lanes. We'll see if he can hold on.
We had contact with Dustin Bally a moment ago that I thought was going to send somebody around, and somehow they all kept it straight. Klein just needs to hold the bottom for the moment. His white flag, it's waving. Last time around here in the sprint race.
And Smith can't seem to build enough of a run on that high side. Is fading ever so slightly off the corner. It is Joseph Klein right now. Mark trying to take it 3 wide, a little bit of contact with Aaron Smith. Now looks low but can't find an opening around Evan Hoopchak. Now ducks to the inside. They are 3 wide in 2 lanes for 3rd place now. Aaron Smith has a huge run, gives a push to Joseph Klein. When will the 70 try and take this? They're coming through the tri-oval now. There's a little bit of contact. There's Hoopchak into the wall, and it'll be Joseph Klein who holds on for the win ahead of Aaron Smith and Mark the Watchman.
Wow. That was chaotically calm, if that makes sense. I expected a little bit more chaos, but wow, what a sprint race!
It just shows the sort of racing we can expect throughout the season in these cars. Nice and clean until that tri-oval. What ended up happening there for the number 7 was that Daniel Fascinetti entered the corner a tiny bit high. Mark Royce tried to squeeze as tight as possible and just caught the nose of that car and into Evan Hoopchak, who got unsettled and thrown out into the wall. Number 7 ended up rolling across the line in 11th place, which is just outside the invert range.
Well, we do have an interview with Joseph Klein. And Olivia, I'll let you take this interview.
Joseph, welcome to the JCTV booth and congratulations on the sprint race win. Able to inherit pole position after a mechanical issue for the number 23. and held on. How important was that inside line for holding that momentum throughout this sprint race?
I don't particularly like the bottom because, it dies out through the tri-oval. So just picked and chose, when to move up and around and kind of just kill the momentum of the other lines and tried to stay in front there. That's all.
Of course, being at the front of the field, I have to imagine you weren't ever tempted to come in for fresh tyres, but when you saw Aaron Smith behind coming through from the back with those fresher tyres, were you worried, and how did that affect the decision to try and work with the 70 a little bit?
Yeah. I know his car is just a giant yellow bee, and I saw him flying through the middle, and I was like, yeah, I'm going with Aaron here. And luckily, I mean, he just kind of stayed behind and pushed. I don't know if he was trying to get a win there or what, but yeah, I saw him coming, and I was like, I got that. That is somebody I got to stay in front of right there. So it was just my whole goal.
Of course, our starting 10th in the feature race. We'll get to that in just a moment. If there's anything you want to say to the fans real quick before then, now's the time.
No, nothing really. I just enjoy being a part of this, and this is one of my favorite combos. So just shout out to everybody in the league and Dustin for putting it on, and just here to have fun.
Sounds good. Good luck in the feature race.
Thank you.
That was sprint race winner Joseph Klein. And as he heads back to the garage, we get ready to go to the grid for 32 more laps of action here at Talladega. You're not going to want to miss it.
And real quick, just want to remind you that to check out the J-Bass Blast Twitch channel on most Tuesday and Thursday nights for all kinds of iRacing action from road races, Mustangs, and even ovals. Longtime title sponsor Itty Bit Better brings you the action week in and week out. Itty Bit Better is an engineering consulting company for professionals bettering buildings through energy, sustainability, and healthy spaces. We have educational resources and process improvement tools to make you an itty bit better. Sign up for their newsletter today to get an early bird discount for their Discord community soft launch coming soon. Find out more at ittybitbetter.com and stop by the JBassBlast Twitch at twitch.tv/JBassBlast. I don't know why that was so hard to read. But the drivers are on the grid for the feature event here tonight. It is going to be Samuel Stoner on the start for this one, on the pole for this one, rather. Dustin Bawley will start second. Vince Harley in third. Tom Wendt fourth. Daniel Foss fifth. Robert Rope sixth. Chuck Labano seventh. Mark Watchman eighth. Aaron Smith ninth. And Joseph Klein in 10th, as that is the reverse order of how they finished in the sprint race with the invert, 11th through, in this case, 26th, stays how they finished, and in the sprint, that is. So we are getting ready for the feature.
Indeed, we are 32 laps of racing here. And normally these cars would be able to handle that without a problem. But I believe it is a reduced fuel load in the setup, which means that we are expecting a pit stop for fuel at a minimum. And I know what you're thinking, watching modern plate races where there's a pit stop for fuel mid-stage. Not going to be like that because we saw how Aaron Smith was able to move with a fresh set of tyres. I think it's going to be absolutely worth taking at least right sides potentially for fresh tyres. So it is going to be full push in terms of fuel. It's just going to be a game of managing the tyres underneath you to try and get the best result possible.
You know, I really wish that my buddy Michael Kruger was here tonight, so I could really get an idea of his strategy and what he thinks is best. I have an idea of what I think it might be in this scenario if he were to race tonight. But, you know, taking that into consideration, that's a totally different cars. And so I have an idea of what I think these guys might do or what they should do. It's just a matter of what's going to work. And, I mean, this is Talladega, so strategy really something big to focus on here. I don't know, but regardless, I think you're right. I do think these drivers are going to have to get tires on their car maybe a couple of times tonight if we get the yellows for that. I don't expect them to just come down pit road multiple times for tires, but fuel, we will need that for sure as well.
We'll see whether they can keep it clean and green or whether we're going to have a few more cars up and over. It is Samuel Stoner on the pole, Dustin Borley on the outside once again. Harley and Went behind. They roll towards the start zone. And we are underway for our feature race here at Talladega.
Once again, look at that jump Bali got. Not as good as the first one, but still able to hang out on that outside line with Stoner this time. Let's see if he can get help from Went pretty quickly here before falling back. Went seems committed to being behind Bali at least. Bropes doesn't. Bropes moves up, makes a third line.
And we saw how the 5 was moving on fresh tyres at the end of the last race as well. Made a good run forwards. He's looking to try and replicate that success at the start of the feature. Up into 4th place currently around the outside Daniel Fass. And now going to try and watch Samuel, just avoid it around Samuel Stoner. And lap number 1 will be led by the number 24. Probst slots into 2nd place. He's going to try and take the outside lane.
We got a wrecked car. It's in the back. We're not going to have it yellow, but Brandon Brush around and into the inside wall. Quickly take a look at our replay. What happened? Contact with Bray. And just, oh my goodness. Lost control, hit the wall hard. I'm kind of surprised it didn't bring out a caution on the back end there. Robert Probst has gotten the lead away from Dustin Bali, however.
Yeah, just a loss of control it looks like, and couldn't ever get the tyres to grip. That's the other thing, I don't know where as well, but once they slide, it'd be so difficult to find that traction again. Dustin Bali to the outside lane. He's worked really well there. Samuel Stoner goes low with Probst getting split in the middle right now. Falls back to 3rd in line. And it's Bali and Harley currently up at the front of the field. And Mark the Watchman up on the high side trying to make something work in that 3rd move.
2 laps complete. So far, a different driver up front at the completion of a lap. Is Harley going to be number 3? Nope, Dustin Bali led that one as they're 3 wide for the race lead. Bali, Watchman, and Harley.
Mark is up 8 positions right now. Sorry, make that 7. But it's to the race lead from 8th on the grid. Joseph Klein behind, also moving in from, of course, 10th place on the grid, winning the sprint race, is looking to get back to the front as well. But has 3 wide ahead, no gap to shoot for. Gonna have to bide the time a little bit and see what opens up behind that number 39 car.
Goodness. This is incredible. As they are 3 wide for the race lead once again. Watchman trying to hang on to that outside line. He's going to lose some momentum. Going to have help here in a moment from Sean Johnson. But how about Harley going to get the lead with help from Klein?
How about 215 miles an hour on the entry of turn number 3 there? These are incredible speeds in these 1987 NASCARs. And Vince Harley and Joseph Klein currently at a little bit of breakaway, but Tom Wendt shoots to the outside to try and run that lane through turns 1 and 2. 3 wide behind, but Probst backs out just a little bit. Gives room for Mark to slot back in.
Tom Wendt washes up the track. Big time there entering turn 3. Harley trying to block. But here comes Wendt with help from Watchman. As Tom Wendt takes the lead. Harley fighting on that inside line, though.
And you see in the wash out of the corner, all the cars on the high side nearly into the wall out of turn number 2. Really got to manage it. It's not going to be full throttle for the whole stint. You've got to lift it off just to get the tyres to bite. And that's where that low side could become a little bit more powerful, or if you can get on your own and use the entire track, you can find a big advantage. But a huge run from Tom Wendt and Mark the Watchman move to the lead, and now they are side by side through 1 and 2 for that top position. 39 has the nose ahead, but on corner exit, Tom finds that little bit of a run.
Some of these drivers are scaring me how they are just driving this car, and this is incredible though. What they are doing is still side by side for the race lead with Wendt and Watchman. Probst pushing Watchman, Harley pushing Wendt. How about James Moore up here as well?
Yeah, up 11 positions from 17th on the grid. Currently, our biggest mover with Daniel Ott behind, also up 11 positions. Try and break into the top 5 here, but 9 laps into a run, 3 wide is not such an easy ask anymore, and both lanes ahead currently occupied. They have to find an opportunity as the cars fan out through the corners.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, you know, if a caution were to come out, these drivers would want tires. As you mentioned, 3 wide's a big ask. We got it. As Probst goes up to the high line and almost into that wall.
And Moore takes the opportunity up and through past the number 5 into 4th position. Thinks about going to the outside, but sits behind that number 39 car. And they will enter 2x2 into turn number 3.
James Moore washes up the track. Klein is able to find a hole in the bottom. Dustin Bally. How about James Moore? Makes the 3rd line.
But lose the momentum, has to go up the hill in the tri-oval. And it just doesn't quite set the car. And is now falling back and taking Sean Johnson with him down outside of the top 5 here. Needs to rebuild that momentum as Aaron Smith, looking to slice through the field, moved up a ton of positions, and there's contact between Moore and Probst. And I think that is going to be our first caution of the feature race.
Oh, yeah.
Big instance into turn number 3.
Mark Royce Laura Wiseman, Robert Brobst, James Moore. That one took out some front runners. See, it
I
starts
think they were both chasing the draft of Aaron Smith there, went for the same lane, and more than 200 mile an hour on the way into turn 3 just causes carnage behind. 5, 6 cars, some with really heavy contacts, into that safe barrier up on the high side. Will be a few fast repairs used here, I'm sure. And there's the hook. Then more contact with more spins around. Who was that in the other car? That was the 44 of Mark Royce with a big shot to the wall. And this will give the field, of course, a chance to take some fresh tyres to fill the tank for the rest of the race. But look at the size of the contact there that a bunch of these drivers had. Group chat just about makes it through and moves up a few spots from that. Let's see who is a taker on pit road as we come to 20 laps to go under our first caution of the feature race.
I really expect pit road to be super busy here, and I am going to be surprised if it is not. As I see drivers looking. Oh yeah, they're coming.
So now the only question is 2 or 4. We saw Smith take 2, it worked pretty well, but this was a much longer run than we saw in the sprint race, and there's much longer to go. I think 4 tyres is a pretty good call here. Maybe if there's another cycle of stops with 10 to go, you can think about a 2-tyre call.
Yeah, give me 4.
Well, Aaron Smith has his answer. He's first off pit road with a 2-tyre call. Dustin Borley, Sean Johnson following with that. And then it looks like the rest of the field with 4 tyres. Mark the Watchman first out on that strategy with Klein and Harley behind. So we have seen a split call here, that top 3 taking just 2 tyres. Let's see whether those left sides start to hurt them over the rest of this one.
It's crazy to me to think that 22-second pit stops are normal for 4 tires. 11.1 for Aaron Smith, 11.4 for Bolly, 12.1 for Sean Johnson. Those are like slower than 4-tire pit stops today.
Yeah, that's a sort of full tank 4-tire stop in modern NASCAR. Here, you've only got time for 2 of them. We had 7 fast repairs taken in that instant, including Robert Brobst, who is going to fall a lap down, having to tow back to pit lane from that incident. Chuck Albano, Daniel Fass, James Moore, Mark Royce, Aaron Bray, and Laura Wiseman also forced into their backup car for the rest of this one. It means if there's another big incident, they've got to avoid it, otherwise it's going to be day done.
Lights on the pace car should go out this time by. It's going to put us at 19 laps to go. 18 when they see the green, and indeed the lights do go out. So Aaron Smith and
I think we've lost Dustin Borley from the grid. So we have Mark the Watchman is going to be up on the front row as well. Huge shame for Dustin. Challenged him so much today. It looks like having some mechanical issues under the first caution, and it's going to be potentially our second retirement from tonight's event.
That is a tough break. Bali having issues last week as well. I was very confused to see Mark Watchman up in second place there. Wow.
A bit like the 2024 Brickyard 500, 400, I should say. You're expecting one lap on the restart, and then suddenly a car's gone and someone else is on the front row.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to reference any NASCAR races from the past 40 years in this, or do we have to keep it period accurate?
I don't see a problem.
I don't know
with
that much from the old era.
I was born in '98, so these cars were 11 years older than me, so I couldn't tell you anything about this time period.
These cars from the 70s, let's not forget.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true too.
The plates got added and this cars sort of went into Gen 3.5.
Aaron Smith, Mark watching the front row as green flag's back out. We're back underway at Talladega.
And a big jump for Aaron Smith. Normally the plate lesson is you don't want to have too big of a lead because you can get swallowed up. We'll see if that applies in these cars as well. It's a big run from Sean Johnson. If he can take that to the outside, he is down the backstretch as they build up and up to 200 miles an hour. And the number 32 will slingshot into the race lead and can't quite cover into turn number 3. Looked for it, fell over for bobble, and Aaron Smith given an opportunity to retake the lead out of turn number 4.
Great reaction out of Sean Johnson not to fully come down. Update on Bali, though, he is back out on the track, one lap down. We'll need some help here if he wants to get back on the lead lap, but he is back out there as Johnson's still on the outside. He's got Watchman behind him. Aaron Smith leading this race with help from Klein.
And Aaron Gray in the 11 is rolling slowly down towards pit road here. Looks like a mistake on the restart. And the 11 has lost the engine coming into turn number 1. So we'll have to come in. And that was one of the cars that had taken a fast repair, so that'll be day done for the 11 crew, unfortunately, after a tough feature race.
Yeah, it is a tough break for Aaron Bray.
We were mentioning how difficult the gearbox is in these cars. I think might have gotten caught out by that on the upshift. Maybe set it down into second instead of fourth. And it's not going to take it at that speed.
Not at all. And I've done it myself. I know a lot of people that have. It's the worst feeling when that happens.
Well, luckily it's not quite as expensive in iRacing
Yeah.
as it would be in the real thing.
Yeah, that is true. Sean Johnson doing a great job. Holding on to that outside. Again, has help. That inside line, though, just looks a little bit better. The outside's starting to get some numbers to it.
Again, remember, these top 2 are on 2 tyres. So we might see them fade towards the end of this one, but for now they are holding really solid. It's just crucial that they stay up front ahead of the chaos, because quite often on older tyres or a 2-tyre call, You're fine if you're up front, but once a couple of cars get past, get into that aero wash, they start coming thick and fast.
Yeah, I think they both need to hold on for dear life. We're not guaranteed to see another yellow. I think we will, but we're not guaranteed to see another yellow. And, I mentioned it. I think these drivers are going to want tires. If we do see another yellow come out, I think drivers are going to come in and get 4 fresh tires.
And if that does happen, and you're one of these two, you're going to want 4 tires because those left sides will be from the start of the race. But if you do that, then other drivers who did take left sides into that last caution, they can flip the script, go 2 on the second caution, seeing that it's working in the short term, and they might just outplay the strategy. So they're hoping this goes green, I think. They do not want to see another caution because they're left with a really difficult decision if that happens.
That outside line, it is faded. Sean Johnson has no help at all. Just going to be fading. So Aaron Smith, he's in the best position possible right now. Single file. He's got the track position. And we have 11 and a half laps to go. And it is Joseph Klein who says, nope, I want the lead.
And this is where things get difficult. To have that aero wash, then a little bit of a wash up the track from Smith, but keeps it out of the number 29. He's stuck in 4th place right now and has to try and find a way back through with a tyre disadvantage.
He's trying. He looks to the outside. It almost looked like Ott was going to go up there with him, but Ott stayed low. And, oh my goodness, that was tight between Smith and Watchman. Sean Johnson
doesn't have the momentum off the corner that you'd need, I think.
Sean Johnson had gotten back to the bumper of Smith before Smith was able to close the door, or not close the door, but get back down to the inside. Watchman goes to that second line. Or lane, rather. Top 4. A little bit of a breakaway. Watchman's going to settle in behind Smith. Harley goes up the track. Aaron Smith does a great job holding the bottom. I noticed that in the sprint race as well. Aaron Smith going to be back up to 2nd place. And moves to the outside. Smith wants the lead.
What a move from Aaron Smith there. Keeping it nice and tight through turn 4. And then finds the gap to slide between. Get briefly to the race lead, but now on the outside and has to try and just outrun Joseph Klein on that high slide groove. Has support behind from that car behind Vince Harley. And he's doing a great job so far. I think what it might be, we talked about being able to hold that inside line. I think you kind of have to work ahead. You have to know to lift early in the corner, just let the tires bite, so that you can power on the exit, rather than trying to go full throttle the whole way around and then realizing late that you've got to lift and bleed off some speed.
Dustin Bally, a lap car. He's all the way against the wall. Bally now 2 laps down. 3 wide for the race lead. Klein, Watchman, Smith. Klein has no help. Smith does, but gonna lose some momentum. Watchman washing up the track. Here comes Harley to the inside of Watchman.
Daniel Ott looking to the inside, nearly 4 wide, but bats out and slots in behind. It's a 5-car patch, 6 cars maybe at the front. And this fighting is starting to bring the rest of the field together as well. We have a single file for a good length of time, but with 7 laps to go. They are scrapping once again.
This is incredible. The battle we have going on. Smith doing everything he can as Klein, as their Watchman, moves up. What's Harley gonna do? Smith actually goes to the top. Here comes Klein to the outside of Smith. 6 to go.
These two finished 1-2 in the sprint race. It was Klein who came out on top in that one. Is it going to be one of them again in the feature? Or is the pack going to prevail? You've got Mark, you've got Vince, Daniel Ott behind Laura Wiseman up into 6th place after taking that fast repair earlier on. But right now it is Smith on the inside, Klein on the outside. And they are neck and neck coming off turn 4. Coming to 5 laps to go here at Talladega. Mark going to the outside and try and make it 3.
Wiseman goes with Watchman. And I want to point out, Bali, we mentioned 2 laps down, but can still play a factor in here. Helping out with the draft. Oh my goodness. I saw a big slide there out of a Klein, I believe.
Oh, an incident behind. Just heard it in the background. Are we going to get a caution as Samuel Stoner slides to a halt? We stay green here. Coming to 4 laps to go, but that is a Rhett number 65 car. See what happened as we keep racing in the live action. Just gets a bump from the car behind. I think that was Johnny Rapp. And just no way to troll it into the corner on tyres this old. It's not like the modern cars. And what that's done is it has split the pack up a fair bit. We've got a few cars behind, and we've got 14 cars still in the fight, with Smith, Harley, and Ott in the top 3.
They're coming to 3 laps to go. Aaron Smith still leads. Harley trying to get a run with Klein. You know, here he comes on his own. Klein not there on his bumper. Ott is pushing Smith. That momentum on the bottom line is going to help Smith stay in the race lead.
For how long are they going to work together? We're coming to 2 laps to go here. Reminder, if we get a caution before the white flag flies, we will have 1 attempt at a green white checker. But if we make it through to the white, then all bets are off. Big push for Daniel Ott from Vince Harley on the entry of turn 1. Smith just pulls away through the mid corner. And a lap and a half to go is into the wall. There's Vince Harley. Can he get it under control? Yes. Doesn't spin into anyone else. It's going to have a lot of momentum to rebuild. Up at the front, it is still Aaron Smith and Daniel Ott. And we are less than a mile away from the white flag here.
Still anybody's race up front. Here comes Daniel Ott with Sean Johnson. Klein moves up. White flag waving.
And it's clear, will he move down to block? Sits in the second groove. Aaron Smith gets the nose back in. They are going to be side by side off the corner. It is Sean Johnson now pushing that number 29 car down the backstretch. It's Chuck Labano trying to help Aaron Smith. And as they enter turn number 3, again, Daniel Ott has the advantage. And choose to cut down, but again, is choosing that middle lane right now.
Coming off of turn number 4, they're squeezing behind. It's going to be a drag race between Smith and Ott. Who's going to help who? If anybody helps anybody. Going to be 3 wide. Coming to the line. Aaron Smith is going to win. 8/1000ths of a second. And a destroyed race car.
What a finish between those two. Bouncing off each other, coming through the tri-oval. Sean Johnson tried to make the clean run round the outside. In the end, they're separated all 3 by 4/100ths of a second. But it's Aaron Smith who's given that inside line off turn number 4 and is able to win the drag race. The little bit of help maybe behind from Joseph Klein. Look at them next to each other.
That's a great camera view. Absolutely insanity.
Now 6 cars within a 10th of a second. The top 12 within 1 second. And leading on each other. Coming to the line, Sean Johnson thought he had a chance around the outside, but by a bumper, it is going to be Aaron Smith, the inevitable, taking home another race win in the Road and Plate Palm Rat Golf Series.
That was amazing. And how about Aaron Smith taking the win? I just, I've talked about before how Aaron Smith is so good on the road courses, and he's so good on plate style tracks too. And these are the opportunities for other drivers to capitalize on saying, not today, Smith. It's my turn. And Aaron Smith still prevails. It's just incredible.
Yeah, at a certain point you run out of things to say about Aaron. I'm just pulling up the overall stat page here. That is win number 42 in this series for Aaron Smith. A more than 50% win rate in his starts. Next up is Brian Malty, who has 12 wins. So a huge gap between the number 70 and the rest of the field. He does it once again here tonight, although he really had to work for it. That was a narrow margin.
That is just absolutely insane. The stats there. Brian Maltor was really fun to watch as well. Very successful driver. But before we get to interviews, just want to remind you that Palm Rat Golf delivers classic styles in a modern fit that allow you to move seamlessly from the office to the course to hanging with friends and family. Visit palmratgolf.com today to browse their collection of fine golf apparel, including polos, pullovers, pants, and more. And after you're done checking out palmratgolf.com, check out the J Bass Blast Twitch channel on most Tuesday and Thursday nights for all kinds of iRacing action from road races, Mustangs, and even ovals. Longtime title sponsor Itty Bit Better brings you the action week in and week out. Itty Bit Better is an engineering consulting company for professionals bettering buildings through energy, sustainability, and healthy spaces. We have educational resources and process improvement tools to make you an itty bit better. Sign up for their newsletter today to get an early bird discount for their Discord community soft launch coming soon. Find out more at ittybitbetter.com and stop by the JBass Blast Twitch at twitch.tv/JBassBlast. I knew I could make it through that without fumbling it. So we're going to... Go ahead.
Let's go over to our podium for tonight's race. Again, 0.04 of a second between these three. Who do you want to talk to first?
Yeah, let's start with Shawn Johnson. And Shawn Johnson, a third place run for you tonight. You were up front, just mixing it up there at the end. Actually, pretty much all race long. In a finish that was so close and so tight. Walk us through how those last few laps were for you.
I restarted the last run in second, so leading the outside line. Held that for, felt like 10 or so laps until the outside kind of fell apart. We kind of ended up in a single file, swapping positions. Then just a couple to go, I think kind of ended up on the outside behind, I want to say the 14 for a bit, and then the 29. And that final lap just was pushing the guy ahead of me. I think if I had entered 3 just a little more throttle, maybe I could have been a little further forward at the end, but it was a fun finish. It was cool to come across the line 3 wide and it be clean without us wadding them up.
Well, this new season has the 87 cars. Of course, we did see last week the season opener on the road course, and then, of course, here tonight at Talladega. So far, with the 2 different types of races that, well, the series specializes in, what do you think with this new car for this league?
Well, unfortunately, I missed last week's race, so I haven't raced them on a road course in the league yet. I've driven the cars before. They are a handful. They are a boat that just kind of goes where you suggest that it goes. I know on the road courses, the H pattern is, I don't know the right term for it, but it is a lot more difficult to work with than the H patterns in the more modern stock cars. It really requires precision if you want to rev match, shifting down or using the clutch to get consistent gearing. Here on the plate tracks, it is just a lot faster, but tires matter so much more. The car wants to push out so much more. And you've just got to fight the car in a way that you aren't typically fighting a car at a super speedway. So they're a lot of fun, but they're a handful.
All right, sponsor shout out. Who gets it done for you?
Well, I got to shout out Palm Rat Golf for sponsoring this series, and RC Cola for keeping me happy while I'm racing.
All right. Well, congrats on the podium run tonight. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
That was Shawn Johnson, our 3rd place finisher here tonight. And Olivia, I believe you have Dan Ott.
I sure do. Dan, welcome to the JCTV booth. Had a rough go of it in the sprint race, but turned it all around here in the feature. Up 19 spots, our biggest gainer of the race. Talk us through the adjustments that you made to make that one happen in the feature race.
Yeah, the first race was rough, but I just tried to save tires. I know how fast they go away in this car. I was almost never full throttle until the last couple laps. So just trying to keep it right front on her so it would turn. But ended up working out and almost got there.
Yeah, margin in the end 1/100th of a second for that race win. What do you think you could have done differently if you could go back in time a few minutes and give it another go?
Maybe block the 32 so he pushes me instead, but I got a pretty good push from the 39 there at the end, so I think either way, it's tough to beat that 70 car. He's too good.
Yeah, you put on a hell of a show. How are you feeling about going over to the road courses next week? Because we saw how comfortable you are here on the oval. Next week, we're over at Mexico City, new track. So how are you feeling for that one?
I love driving these cars on the road course, but I don't know Mexico too well. I've only driven a couple laps there, but we'll get her learned in the next week or so, so I hope it'll go well.
Well, I wish you all the best for that one. Congratulations on the second place finish and 19 spots gained here in the feature race. If there's anything you want to say to the fans at home, now would be the time.
Not a whole lot. Thanks for you guys for broadcasting this. Thanks for Dustin to putting on, and live every day trying to be like the Biff.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
That was your second place finisher here, Daniel Ott. And now, for the 42nd time in the Road and Plate Parmac Golf Series, Aaron Smith will be standing by with Joshua Topinol.
Aaron Smith, I don't think you got the memo that this is Talladega. Other drivers are supposed to have a chance to beat you.
I got to come out here and win. I wasn't really planning on running tonight, but saw it last minute, decided to hop in. Had a few technical issues, but I figured I'd roll with it and see what I could do. I got that caution in the first race, and I was able to run my way up with that tire advantage. So it was a blast tonight. Glad we had a good feature.
Yeah, in that sprint race, I actually was surprised to see you tonight as well. But in that sprint race, you came down pit road, get some tires on the car a couple of times. Did you use anything, that strategy of two tires to gain knowledge for this feature?
I've done a lot of racing in these cars and these kinds of tracks, especially with Moon Car with like much faster setups and all that. So you kind of want to have that tire advantage, even if it's only the two right sides, because you want to have that cornering power. Because with how people were sliding out of turn 2 and hitting the wall, I was flying by them there on the outside when I had that advantage. So if more people wisen up to that, it could be a pretty interesting season as far as the strategy is concerned. But it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Now, there at the only caution of the race, 3 drivers took 2 tires. One of them ended up falling out. Of course, you were one of the 2 that were still remaining up there. So everybody else behind you, with the exception of Johnson being on 4 tires, were you worried at all? Or with your experience that you were just talking about, did you think that 2 was going to be just fine?
Yeah, the 4 tires do have a slight advantage, but if you have that track position and don't have to hold yourself down to the bottom with cars on your outside, it can pay off, it can even out, and eventually overpower the people on 4 tires. So that's what I was banking on, and I did have to race side by side a little more than I would have liked, but I was able to come out of it on top either way.
You did actually lose the lead, fell back to 4th, but was able to power your way back through. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to pull it off, because it is very easy to take the middle going into the corner and overdrive it, because there were a lot of people doing that in the second and third lanes. I wanted to avoid that by pinching the cars on my inside and making sure they couldn't exit well, and I think I used that to my advantage trying to pass Joseph there. I don't recall how I got back around him, but at that point I had to use as much of the track as I could without opening up that bottom line, and fortunately no one got by me on the inside. They all tried on the outside and just ran out of time.
Well, Olivia informed me that this is your 42nd win here in this series. That's pretty incredible, and it's miles ahead. What was it, Olivia? 12 for Brian Molitor?
Mm-hmm.
30 more wins
12.
than second.
Oh, man.
And Brian Molitor is a pretty good racer, too.
Oh, yeah, I can attest to that.
just congrats on your 42nd victory here tonight. It's a good number. I personally really like the number 42. But sponsor shout-outs, who gets it done for you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at Road and Plate and Palm Rat Golf for having me again this season. When you put it that way, 42 wins to 12 in second, I almost feel kind of bad for showing up after all that. But yeah, I'll keep doing it until they get rid of me. So yeah, I love these cars, love the tracks we're going to have on the rest of this schedule. I think we've got a break before Mexico, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right, sounds good. And congrats on the win, and we'll see you next time.
10-4, thank you.
That was Aaron Smith, the winner of tonight's race. And we're going to pull up the schedule real quick. And, there is a bye week next week. That is because these guys are super generous to kind of go around my schedule. I am on vacation. Going to the Rolex 24. Actually be leaving on Tuesday, so I wouldn't be around on Thursday. So big thanks to these guys for having that bye week there. So it will be January 29th at Mexico for our next event here in the Road and Plate Palm Rat Golf Series. And I'm looking forward to it. Mexico is a fun race track. It is newer to iRacing. I don't really have experience on it at all, but I am looking forward to that when it comes. But Olivia, thoughts on Talladega?
That is why this style of racing is so beloved, why it was so iconic back in the 1980s, why so many leagues and events still run this format, because having that tire wear be a huge factor, but still using the momentum of the draft and pushing drivers for the win, it's just incredible. And what a way to open up the oval portion of this season with a couple of incredible finishes, really showing what these cars are capable of on these big super speedways. I loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to watch this race, watch these drivers take on this track in this car. We do have Talladega later in the season as well. That should be pretty fun and exciting to watch when they do get to that one. Mexico is next, like I said. That one I say it from time to time with, I don't know how stock cars belong on certain tracks. NASCAR did a phenomenal job when they were there at that track last year, but of course, totally different car. And I don't know. I personally don't see how these guys are going to make the 87s work on Mexico, but I know they're going to put on a great show. They always do. And I am looking forward to seeing how they do when that one comes around.
Turn one's going to be something.
Oh, man. I'm thinking, once they get around to the stadium section as well. But yeah, turn one, that's going to be incredible. So yeah, thank you, Olivia, for coming along and broadcasting with me once again. It's been a while, and I'm glad that you were here tonight. That's going to do it from us here at Talladega. And on behalf of the entire outstanding crew at JCTV, I'm Joshua Copperl alongside Olivia Hayward, signing off, saying so long, stay safe, and have a great rest of your night.